My name is Amanda Strickler-Holman, and this is my mini case study of family involvement for AEP 880. So, a little summary about the main characters. We have Joel, who is a student. We have Mr. and Miss Pham, who are Joel's parents. Mr. Rolnick, who is the teacher. Miss Smith, who is a co-worker of Mr. Rolnick. And we have Miles, who Joel wants to be Miles' partner for the science fair project. So the summary of the situation, issues, and concerns. Mr. Rolnick is very discouraged because Miss Pham doesn't volunteer at the school, and her company is really gracious in a sense of allows parents to volunteer and still get paid. So her company is very supportive of school involvement. Joel wants to be Miles' partner for the science fair, but Mr. Rolnick needs to speak with parents first to make sure that the parents are on the same page and the students understand the expectation. When Mr. Rolnick finally gets a hold of Mr. Pham, he says that he will talk to Joel about it, which discourages Mr. Rolnick. And Mr. Pham doesn't take advantage of the opportunity to meet Mr. Rolnick, even though Mr. Rolnick said his schedule was very open and he was flexible at a time and place that they could meet. Mr. Rolnick believes in including families within the school, and again is frustrated that the Phams don't participate in these activities, even though several are offered for all family schedules. And so Mr. Rolnick seeks advice from a veteran teacher, Miss Smith, where he is encouraged to think of other barriers and factors that might be affecting the Phams on why they aren't choosing to participate or volunteer within the school, on how Mr. Rolnick thinks would be beneficial or the opportunities that he set up. So what factors might be keeping the Phams from volunteering in ways Mr. Rolnick has provided? I've come up with a couple ideas that may be why. Culture, in the Vietnamese culture, that it's the family unit is considered in all decision making. So if they're close with their family, their extended family, aunts, uncles, other children, they all make that cohesive decision together, not just Mr. and Miss Pham as well as Joel. Value education. I know in the Vietnamese culture, education is extremely important. However, maybe they don't value the other things such as volunteer or how we do in America. Those things could be a little different in how they value that. Maybe the Phams aren't interested in those opportunities that Mr. Rolnick is providing. Previous experiences with this school, because they both went to school there. Mr. and Miss Pham went to school there. Maybe they did not have a pleasant experience and would choose to, they don't want to put themselves in that situation again or be involved with this school, except for just dealing with Joel. And then maybe they're having some other family issues that we don't know about. I don't know if they have other children they're busy with. I caught in the reading that it was Mr. and MS Pham, not MRS. So maybe it's a divorce situation, or there's a lot of other factors that could be playing into that. So with my personal experience on why, parents aren't participating, how sometimes educators see that we would like them to, some parents prefer to help in other ways. They don't want to be seen, or the traditional help of the volunteer groups. They just would prefer a different way to help if possible. Sometimes it's the same group always doing the same things, and maybe certain parents don't want to hang out with that group or feel excluded, etc. Many parents are faced with time constraints, And some parents just don't understand the importance of involvement and what that means to both the school community and student. So, how to reach out to parents who might have experienced school as a hostile environment, or maybe school was not a positive experience for them. I feel like as educators, it's very important to show that you care and that you are invested, trying to perceive any negative past experience with a positive light. Communicating regularly with parents is essential. Include the positives. Parents don't want to hear every time Johnny does something bad. Send that note home or make that call that Johnny did something really good today, whether it was helping a friend or etc. That helps build that relationship and get to know their child and them. Anything you can, when they feel that you know more about them and their child and care, they might be more receptive and help break down those barriers of teachers are there for a paycheck, not that they really care, and that could have been their experience in the past. My personal experience on how or things that I've dealt with that parents are not as involved as we would like. They won't offer their students rides. So most of the time it happens to be a younger student, and being in the high school setting, a lot of times those senior students involved in what that younger student that can't or doesn't have a ride will take care of that for them. So we're finding transportation ways for them. They don't sign up for anything. If I see them in person, I try and make sure and say something positive about their student, because I am in a small community. I run into a lot of the parents and or kids, whether it be Walmart, at a restaurant, etc. So just slipping in those casual conversations. And then I feel like I'm in a unique situation because of my content. Most of the time, that agriculture or FFA, it's a 3-circle model, was the only positive experience for students' parents. So they are eager to help. Maybe they didn't like school in other ways, but that FFA was their outlet, or the ag class and that shop class was their outlet. So I'm lucky that most of the time my content was the positive experience for the parents and the students that maybe they didn't have in your general education classrooms. How are staff to know of the barrier, and how do we eliminate the situation? Sometimes staff wouldn't know. There's just some things families aren't just gonna willingly share without that previous established relationship. So it would require positive communication and active listening. Again, communication is the key. I don't think that can be stressed enough. And start simple. Include the positives, send notes home, send an email, etc. And don't take it personally when when you feel like you're talking to a brick wall and you're offering these suggestions and giving all these, different realms of ways they could participate. Just don't take it personally. They may need more time and or try other avenues. So how do we eliminate the situation? Trying different methods of communication. Try to reach out to them personally. Again, we know the FAMs were present at parent-teacher conferences, so maybe sitting down and talking to them face-to-face. Be sensitive to other cultures and their native languages. And then they may need support in other ways, and or they would be willing to support in non-traditional ways, or ways that we just haven't been thinking of that would be more comfortable for them. Question 3, what are some ways parents can be involved and demonstrate interest in their child's education other than volunteering? I think there's a lot of ways. I know volunteering is probably really high at the elementary level, but it's also at the high school level too, but there's other, ways parents can be involved. I think the first one is attendance. The parents care and they come, whether that is a sports game, whether that's a banquet, whether that's the kids, they're in a play or parent-teacher conferences or they have a showcase night of the projects that they made in woods and shop, attendance is very important. Snacks, it seems simple. Some parents love to provide all the kids snacks, but I mean, who doesn't like food? So that's a bright thing. Communication with the teacher, as long as they're communicating and they're reaching out, or they respond, that's another way that they are involved in their child's education. Getting supplies for the child's project, going above and beyond, making those midnight runs that the child didn't tell their parent, oh hey, I need this for tomorrow, and their parents are out doing it at 10 o'clock at night. I've seen that. Talking with children about their day, just sitting down and having that time. And then some parents feel like the best way to serve is through donations, or hey, what do you need? And they'll go out there and get that. So there's a lot of different ways that parents can be interested in their child's education other than volunteering. My personal experiences with similar situations, things that I thought of within the school or through my own personal classroom, is the junior parents always organize after prom. That is a parent-led thing, and after prom is always this big deal. Again, snacks, parents sending the entire group with snacks. Driving vans when there's a shortage of bus drivers, parents can volunteer or do volunteer for that. For me, emails and text, checking in, reaching out. Some parents I have very regular communication with. Why is Bobby missing this assignment? Well, he never turned it in, or how can I help Bobby on this, etc. Again, I mentioned attendance at banquets, events, and conferences. Donating supplies to my classroom. That has been a big thing that I'm very lucky to have supportive parents with. And then at our local elementary school, elementary students bring folder home every day to parents, and that is like the two-way communication between that teacher and those students. And they bring their folder back every day, so the parent, gets that two-way information there. So again, my name is Amanda, and this was my mini case study.